Warning. This video contains graphic content. Viewer discretion is advised. Not suitable for all audiences. This is not a story of a serial killer. It is not a story of a criminal mastermind. It is the story of what can happen when cruelty becomes entertainment, when group loyalty replaces conscience, and when ordinary people slowly stop seeing another human being as a human. This is the story of Suzanne Capper, a 16-year-old girl whose greatest vulnerability was not recklessness, it was loneliness. Suzanne desperately wanted acceptance. She wanted friendship. She wanted to belong. Like countless teenagers, she found herself drawn to a group that was willing to offer what she was searching for. But what appeared to be friendship was something far darker. The house she frequented was chaotic. Arguments, drugs, violence was common. Yet Suzanne continued returning because sometimes the fear of being alone can be stronger than warning signs telling us to walk away. Then came the accusations, rumors, the kind of gossip that normally disappears within days, but inside toxic environments, minor conflicts can become fuel. And once a group decides someone deserves punishment, reality often becomes irrelevant. Only the story the group tells themselves matters, and Suzanne became the target. And so they made a decision that would forever define their names in British criminal history. In early December 1992, the group turned on Suzanne over a minor grievance, and until this day has never been proven, including the false accusation that she stole a pink duffel coat. Also, it had infected someone with pubic lice, pubic pixie, crabs, crotch crickets, crotch cobras, bush bandits, itchy bits, the Velcro crew, Bermuda bugs, the below the belt brigade, the jungle gym, pants ants. On December 7th, 1992, they lured her to the house and immediately ambushed. And over the next 7 days, Suzanne was subjected to the unspeakable horrors by a group who considered her friends. The torture included shaving off her hair and eyebrows, beating her severely with fists, belts, and blunt instruments, locking her inside a cramped cupboard for long periods of time, injecting her with amphetamines, and forcing her to take a bath in industrial detergent. They also tied her to an upturned bed frame with electrical wire, blaring a novelty dance track featuring the horror movie character Chucky.
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
At maximum volume to psychologically torment her, also extracting 2 of her front teeth using pliers by force. And on December 14th, 1992, her captors realized that her injuries were too severe to hide, and they decided to kill her. Suzanne was placed into the boot of a stolen car and driven 13 miles away to a remote countryside area known as Warneth Low. She was pushed down a steep embankment, doused in petrol, and set on fire. Miraculously, Suzanne managed to survive the initial attack, crawled back up to the bank, and staggered onto the nearby road, where she was found by passing motorists at 6:10 a.m., suffering from catastrophic 80% burns across her body before falling into a medical coma at Withington Hospital. Suzanne displayed incredible bravery by remaining conscious long enough to name each of her attackers and describe where she had been held. She sadly passed away 4 days later on December 18th, 1992, from multiple organ failure. Many struggle to comprehend how a group of seemingly ordinary people could commit acts of such profound cruelty. But perhaps the question misses the larger lesson. The real danger is believing monsters always look like monsters. Most do not. They look ordinary. They live next door. They blend into crowds. And under the wrong conditions, ordinary people can participate in the extraordinary evil. Suzanne Capper's murder remains one of Britain's most haunting criminal cases because it exposes uncomfortable truths about human nature. The danger of groupthink, the danger of social exclusion, the danger of silence, and the terrifying speed which empathy can disappear when cruelty becomes normalized. Today, decades later, this case remains a warning to parents, a warning to communities, a warning to every person who witnesses bullying and chooses not to act, because atrocities rarely begin with murder. They begin with ridicule, humiliation, and the decision that someone else's pain doesn't matter. And when enough people make that decision together, the consequences can be catastrophic. Her courage helped bring her attackers to a justice. Because Suzanne survived long enough to identify her abusers, police quickly arrested the gang. In December 1993, the trial concluded with heavy sentences for the perpetrators. Jean Powell, 26 at the time, Bernadette McNeely, 24, both were sentenced to life in prison for murder. McNeely was released on parole in 2015. Glenn Powell, 29, was sentenced to life in prison for murder. Anthony Dudson, 17, was found guilty of murder and ordered to be detained at Her Majesty's pleasure. Clifford Pook and Jeffrey Lee received 15 and 12-year sentences, respectively, for their roles in a conspiracy to commit grievous bodily harm and false imprisonment. Her story remains a reminder of the devastating consequences of a group cruelty, bystander, and a mob mentality. The total release of this gang has sparked ongoing outrage. Public safety campaigners and Suzanne's family, including her mother, have actively condemned the decisions. They have continually petitioned the justice system, arguing that for a crime of such severe sadism, life should mean life, and the killers should have never been allowed freedom. Let me know what you think in the comments. Leave your thoughts below. See you on the next one.